Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From Cafeteria Film Studios in Little Havana, Phresh presents Que Bola, where we talk to various movers and hustlers who are popping off and succeeding in the 305 and at the same time influencing the culture. I'm your boy D Fig. Holla at your boy when you see me in the street. Yo, what's good, everybody? I hope everybody's had a wonderful start of the year. I know I have. I appreciate everybody who showed nothing but love throughout the holidays. In this week's episode, we sat down with a food blogger, Mr. Yum Foodie himself, Eddie Zamora. Eddie is a dope individual out of Dade County. He's popping off right now out in Cali, doing his acting and hosting gig. We sat down and we talked about how he started down this path, down this road, and how South Florida plays such an intricate part of that. Without further ado, let's get into this one. Eddie Zamora, let's go. Listo. All right. So we are in another episode of the Que Bola. Damn, bro, look at this. I'm bugging. I'm the first one. I'm the first one to get... Oh,
no me echen la culpa a mí.
Siempre, bro. Eso siempre me pasa a mí. I'd be like, oh, don't do this, and then me pasa a mí.
Fuácata.
Fuácata, for real. And I put it all the way to low and nothing. All right.
Fuácata. Those were the good old days. Avoy como ayer when they used to have fuácata.
Fuácata, dog.
Way back in the day.
That's a throwback right there, yo. That's like real.
DJ
like,
Spam and the Spam Monsters, dude. I used to go every
Spam Monster be killing it.
Thursday.
They
I
still
think it was
kill
Thursday that I would go.
To this day, they still kill it, dog. And the new... All right, so we're in another episode of Que Bola podcast. ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
All right.
Absolutely. Seguro que yes.
Seguro
As
que
my
yes.
grandmother would say.
Seguro que yes, papi. Freaking in the studio, the one and only Mr. Yum Foodie, Eddie Zamora. Eddie, what's good with you, papo?
Aquí en La Lucha, man. Back in the 305 for a little bit.
In the 305, I see
man.
you. How long are you in the 305 for right now?
I'm here just for a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're getting in like your family time for like
Pretty much,
holiday
man.
and all of that.
Yeah, man. I never have time when I'm here. It's usually like South Beach Winter Food Festival.
Yeah.
Or I come in for work for like and then I'm
Quick
out.
in and out.
Yeah.
And the family, where they stay at?
La Sabuesera, man. Born and raised.
Sabuesera, they're still in the Sabuesera.
Sabuesera, yeah, man.
That's what's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's popping. Is that where you went to high school and stuff? Where you went to...
Yeah, I went to Coral Gables High School.
Oh, you were Coral Park? No, Coral
Coral
Gables.
Gables, yeah.
Coral Gables High.
Yep.
So you're in really Sabuesera. That's like the Gables.
No, dude, my
Oh, you were like...
between Flagler and Southwest 4th Street on 48th.
Okay.
So that's La Sabuesera.
All right, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a dope area.
Just
dog.
a Gables zip code, but we don't pay Gables taxes.
Yeah,
It's probably
yes. That's like that's kind of like Little Gables, casi.
pretty much. I mean, I guess. I wish the houses were as nice.
Yeah, as Little Gables. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a nice little area. So your whole life you were born and raised in that pop.
Born and raised there. I mean, I went to Henry M. Flagler Elementary School.
Okay.
Right down the street from my house, and then I would have gone to Kinlock.
All right.
But I got accepted to the Magnet music program at South Miami. So I went to South Miami Elementary School for 3 years in music,
Okay.
and then junior high.
Hey, why didn't you go to New World then?
I'm trying to, because New World, as far as high school is concerned, New World didn't have a baseball team, and all I wanted to do was play baseball. So
What?
Yeah.
Yo, seriously. So
Yeah.
damn, that's
I know.
crazy, dog.
Little would I have known that I would do nothing in my life with baseball.
Yeah.
But
Were you an athlete though?
I played center field. Yeah.
Okay, so that was like your thing while you're growing up.
Yeah. I started playing baseball at Patato Pacual Academy.
Okay.
Like when I was like 10 or 11 years old, maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It was big for me.
I saw that because I was reading your profile and reading all the stuff that you've done, and it said singing and acting and stuff like that. So I was thinking, man, if you did go to South Miami, then you would have gone probably, because a lot of the South Miami kids went to New World after, to continue in the arts and all of that.
I have a lot of friends that went to New World, and they studied graphic arts, and they're still working in that world, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, that's a crazy diversion that you went for
It's
baseball.
nuts.
Yeah, I think about it too because sometimes I had the opportunity to go to Coral. What's that? Not Coral Park. The one down on 152, Coral. I forgot the name.
Reef?
Yeah, Coral Reef. There you go.
Look at that, dude.
Coral
Just pulled
Reef.
that one out of my
High
ass.
five on that
There
one.
you go.
Yeah, it's Coral Reef. I had a chance to go to Coral Reef, but I went to South Ridge because I wanted to play football. And little did I know I'm not gonna play football ever. You know what I'm saying? I just got
That's
my
how it
ass
is,
whooped
man.
like up and down the field.
You
basically.
feel compelled.
Yes, I don't know. Sports played a huge part growing up.
It's still a huge thing for me. It's
Yeah.
part of what connects me to home tremendously, which is why I'm like such a diehard, which is why my
Marlins
voice
fans.
is the way that it is
Yeah.
right now, because I went to the Heat game yesterday.
Yeah.
And we came back on the Bulls and Tyler Hero went ballistic on him.
Yeah.
Hence my
Yeah.
voice like this. And a huge Marlins fan and a huge Dolphins fan.
So you're like home team fan all the way through and through.
Oh yeah,
Dolphins the whole nine. You have the Canes.
I'm a Canes and a Seminoles fan.
Hold
Yeah.
on. What?
Seminoles first
Wait,
and the
what?
Canes.
How does that happen? No, you can't do that.
My oldest brother went to Florida State, so when I was little, I got kind of sucked into liking Florida State.
Okay.
And I'll never forget my Christmas present in 1993 was my brother bought me tickets to the national championship game at the Orange Bowl.
All right.
So I saw Florida State beat Nebraska and win the championship, and it was like I was hooked.
So you got both of them. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The only
insane.
time I don't root for the Canes is when they play Florida State.
So you're more of a Florida State
More
fan
of a
than you're
Florida
a
State
Canes fan.
Yeah.
You know, I said that's crazy, dog.
I don't hate on the Canes.
Yeah, I feel you.
Not at all.
You're just like, I feel you. I feel
You know.
you. Yeah, you have your like split in between both those
I
experiences.
have a family history with it too.
Yeah.
My dad actually went to University of Miami for, if I'm not mistaken, like a year. Early, when he was really young.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He graduated from FIU actually.
So you're a second generation Cuban American.
First generation. My parents
First
came when they were
generation.
18 years old.
Okay, so your
Right.
parents. Wow, so that's dope. So your parents had an opportunity to come from Cuba and they went to University of Miami. Your dad?
My dad did, yeah.
Yo, I
music.
said it. That's
my
what's
dad
up,
actually
dog.
was in class, if I'm not mistaken. My dad's a drummer.
Yeah.
And he was in class with Chirino.
What?
They used to be friends way back in the day.
Nice, nice,
And
yo.
I honestly don't know why my dad left UM. It could have been a money thing.
Yeah.
And also family.
Yeah.
And then it took him something like 20 years to graduate from FIU. Because I remember my
Okay.
dad, when he graduated, it was in the newspapers. Like,
Yeah?
They came in interviews. It was pretty funny because my dad was in his 40s.
Mm.
Now it's a very common thing. But
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah, it was
in the
it was
80s, nobody
common.
graduated from FIU in their 40s.
Yeah, for somebody to be like determined like that and get, I mean, you could imagine what the worth of a degree was back then in comparison to now.
Well, absolutely. Because when my father was, I'll never forget it. My father, they started losing work to DJs. Musicians did in Miami. Like, well, we can pay a DJ a couple
Well, we're
$100
gonna hire a
Why are we
band.
going to hire a band?
Yeah.
And then my dad's degree is what saved him. He became a social worker, working for Department of Children and Families.
Damn. So okay, so your parents came here from Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
You see your parents striving and getting ahead. I mean, because they were probably like huge on education. They were going to college, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely, yeah.
How much of a part did that play in your upbringing and like trying to strive and trying to get ahead?
The hard work ethic, huge.
Yeah.
Huge, because that's who I am today.
Yeah.
If I wake up at 5:59, I think somebody's waking up at 5:58
Damn.
and is working harder than me. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm always about like striving and be better than what you did.
That was drilled in by who? Your mom or your dad? Oh, abuelita, abuelito.
You know what's funny? It would have to be both my parents because they were
Okay.
both like super hardworking. And then I remember one of my dearest friends. He's like a semi-professional bodybuilder, and he turned me on to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And the way Arnold was so disciplined in life, and the way he would work harder than anybody else.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I became, as a teenager, really interested in how you become that mentally strong.
Yeah.
And it fascinated me. And that was also one of my inspirations to kind of like always work harder. He was like the runt of his family.
Yeah.
They told him he had to change his name. They told him he wouldn't work with that accent. And find me somebody who doesn't know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is.
Exactly.
he
That's
wiped his
crazy,
ass
dude.
with everything people told him.
That's dope, man. Like, what's insane? Like, so you grew up around La Sabuesera, you went to school, and you're exposed to people who are like so far flung, such as like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but at the same time, you're exposed to like super cultural people within your culture, like Willie Chirino and like Oscar de Leon and all of that, Joey Arroyo, all these things. How do you feel like that experience led for you to be like a personality that expresses himself in not only in Latin ways, because I see you like the Latin you can't be hidden. You know what I'm saying?
No, right? It's pretty transparent.
Pretty transparent.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
how much of a sazon is that? Like, okay, like if you were gonna say there was an Eddie Zamora mofongo, you know what I'm saying? What would be the, okay, I put a little bit of Oscar de Leon here, a little Arnold Schwarzenegger here, this and that.
It's crazy, man, because I look back at the series of incidences in my life that have led me to where I am now, and I would not be able to recreate it.
Okay.
Like, I couldn't sit there and put the recipe down on paper and be like, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
But the being, quote unquote, like just Latin people are like MacGyver, man. I can resolver. And I had to resolver in whatever it was that I was doing. And then at the same time, very weird to having Cuban parents. My parents were the kind of parents where like, it's okay to go.
What do you
weren't
mean?
the kind
Oh,
of parents that you have to
yeah.
stay home.
Yeah, bro.
My
That's
parents
insane.
were like, no, follow your dreams. You will, we're not going anywhere. You do your thing, and
That plays a huge part.
you're gonna be grateful for it at some point.
I mean, that's very brave of your parents.
Yes,
Because I mean,
Absolutely.
Latin parents, Cuban parents, they're not like that. They're like, quédate en casa. Why are you gonna leave?
well, yeah. I
Ever?
traveled a bunch later in life as
Yeah.
a kid. Like going to Europe is going to Epcot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
basically
yeah,
it. You
yeah,
go to see
yeah.
Paris and Epcot. They're so afraid to. At least my parents were. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
They did not go anywhere. And then when I had the opportunity to start traveling, my parents were like, go, see the world, do
That's
what we
what's
didn't
up,
get
man.
to do.
That's what's up. They actually like encourage you to go out there and like and experience different things.
Yeah, man, it was an interesting time because it must have been right after the Marlins won the World Series in 2003. I was still living here,
Okay.
and before the Marlins won the World Series, I had a show on Mundos called Chat.
Okay.
So it was a talk show.
All right.
And I was one of the hosts of that show.
All right.
And when that ran its course, I knew that I couldn't be here anymore. There really was nothing.
Yeah. At that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, things have evolved, which is wonderful.
Yeah. For
from
South
my
Florida.
perspective, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of my hometown.
Yeah.
I'm proud of guys like you that are doing this
Thank you,
and
bro.
really paying it forward and pushing it forward. It really is. It's nice to see it from
where
I
it
live
started.
and from where I live, man, because it just didn't exist.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. I feel you.
But it must have been around that time, 2003, 2004, and my mother had cancer. She was ill, and I didn't know what to do. And both of them were like, no, vete, go. You need to go.
Yeah.
You need to not be here because you're gonna get sucked into this, and you won't evolve.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's huge, man.
It was. I thanked them for it
Yeah.
all the time because it could have easily been, no, I gotta stay home. No, they didn't even give me the option. They're like, you gotta go.
So in terms of like high school, were you thinking of these things? Were you in high school or
No, dude. In high school,
did you even
I wanted to be a marine
have
biologist.
drama or anything like that?
I wanted to be a marine biologist because I love the sea. We used to
me
sail when
too.
I was
I'm
a
a
kid.
diver. I love
right on.
it. Yeah.
Right on. We had like a little sailboat. My dad, we'd always go to Key Biscayne and go sailing like in Crandon
Yeah.
Park and stuff. And I don't remember why I signed up for the drama class, but it was like an optional elective. right?
Okay.
And I signed up for drama class, and I was super shy, like beyond shy.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't look somebody in the eye when I talked to them.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to girls. That was like unheard of.
Yeah.
I was the guy that maybe would like poke a girl in the back with a pencil if I liked it. You know what I mean? Like
What
that
was your clique though? What was your gang? I know you had a gang of friends.
What's funny? It was weird because I was a thespian baseball player.
So I was a thespian baseball.
I played baseball, but I was in theater. It was the weirdest thing ever because they were looking
So
at
you
me like
had
I
a
was
couple
crazy.
jocks, a couple
Yeah.
jock friends,
Pretty much.
and you had a couple like thespian friends.
Yeah.
They're like también todo like a little weird and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And I grew up listening to jazz. I didn't listen to rock and roll music until I was like later on in life.
Yeah.
Because my dad's a jazz musician. That's what I grew up listening to. So I was connected with more of that artistic world. It was just what I knew,
Yeah.
And then later on in life, obviously you evolve. You'd listen to a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But that was how I started. It was a drama class at Coral Gables High School.
Nice.
And I can't recall. I think just as like a dare to myself.
Yeah.
When it was time to go to college, and I finally said I'm going to go to FIU. I auditioned for theater. I was like,
At FIU.
at FIU.
So
And then I
that's
got accepted
so that
into-
okay. So that propelled you even further into the arts.
Yeah.
And into like developing characters and things along that nature.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, piano was my first instrument.
All right.
And then voice came later.
Yeah.
So,
So where did you learn the piano?
My parents tricked me into taking piano classes by telling me they were going to buy me a toy Ferrari Testarossa, like Sonny Crockett from Miami Vice.
Okay.
They were going to buy me like a remote control one.
Yeah, I remember.
I'll never forget it.
I remember.
And I never got that car. But
Those cars were fresh.
it was dope.
Yeah,
It was so dope.
yeah.
But I did get an education in piano, and it was one of the greatest things ever to be able to
How did that happen? Like, how do you get a toy and then you get a piano?
Well, because my dad's a musician. And
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, Papi, aprende piano. And I was like, but Dad, I want to play drums like you. And he's
Yeah.
like, no. You don't want to play drums.
Yeah.
He's like, you see what time I have to get to the gig to set up?
Mm-hmm.
You see how long it takes me to break it down later? He goes, play the piano. There's a piano everywhere.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I was like, Coño, you're smart, Dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they got me into piano. And I mean, I do love being able to sit and play.
Yeah, playing piano is something that's kind of like a meditation almost of sorts. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that piano
100%.
players or musicians in general, right? They express themselves in other ways, And that has a lot to do with the way they think and the way that they conduct themselves. Because you're I don't know, for some reason, I don't know, I don't have the actual data to like comprobar this, you know what I'm saying?
fair enough.
But I'm just talking off the cuff that like I feel like because I'm a piano player as
Oh,
well.
right on.
Yeah,
Cool.
I started learning when I was like 10, 12 years old. So I feel like that like opened up my mind. Like it was something that was like a different way for me to express myself.
Absolutely.
And that really opened up the way that I think in different ways, like with my left and my right hand. A lot of people don't really consider that. So like that's a blessing that your parents like tricked you into doing that.
It's funny that you mentioned the left and the right, and I never put the two together. I have this skill called ear prompter.
Okay.
So ear prompter is where you can have an earpiece
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a pre-recorded like speech,
Yeah.
and you're listening to it a second delay,
Uh-huh.
and it sounds like if I'm speaking off the cuff.
Oh.
But I think it's from piano because I can listen to two things independently.
Yeah, because like both hemispheres of your brain have been engaged so much at such a young age that experience isn't like provided to everybody.
Right, exactly.
So like that gives you
funny, I
like
never
a
put the
special
two
little
together.
it gives you like a little extra boost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you listen to things differently.
Yeah.
You
That's
hear
what's
things
up.
differently. Yeah.
You taste things differently.
Yes.
So,
Which-
like,
nice segue.
It's crazy. So like, yeah, so like how did all of these things lead to you being a foodie, like an international foodie? You
It's
know?
crazy, man. I used to be the most finicky eater.
Okay.
Like beyond
As a kid?
Oh, beyond.
Okay.
Beyond. Like when we would go to Orlando to Disney when I was a
Yeah.
kid, my parents would have to bring food.
Yeah.
They'd have to bring like boldaje chicharo or whatever.
Yeah.
And then a blender because I wouldn't even eat the whole boldaje. They'd have to blend it for me when I was a kid.
Wow.
I was such a pain in the ass.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Dude. Yeah.
And then I had a dear friend of mine who goes to study abroad. Tell me about it. He goes to study abroad in Spain.
Okay.
And he invites me. He's like, hey, dude, I'm staying in Barcelona for X amount of time.
Yeah.
He's like, get a ticket, come hang out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. So my parents were like, yeah, go do it. So I go, I get a ticket, I go to Europe, and it blew my mind. The first time I had like jamón ibérico, patata bravas, like paella in Spain, wine over there in Spain. It made an impact on me, and it made an everlasting impression. Fast forward, I moved to California, and I'm working as an actor. That was my first gig. I did musical theater, I did TV, I did commercials. I mean,
as an actor, you were like working on a gig, or were you like looking for gigs?
I was in the grind.
Oh, okay, so you're on the grind.
I was in the grind. I mean, I was working, I was making money, but it wasn't like it wasn't my only gig.
Okay.
I still waited tables.
Yeah.
I worked in catering.
Okay.
So when I started working in catering, I worked for some high-end companies.
Yeah.
And the food that I was eating was stuff I couldn't afford.
Yeah.
The wines I was drinking was stuff I couldn't afford. And I developed an appreciation and an understanding. The same way somebody could be like, why does this guy or why does this person buy this fast car?
Yeah.
Until you drive it, you don't understand the feeling you get. Until you taste a particular wine, until you eat grass-fed steak from whatever farm, till you have that experience, it's hard to judge and say, is it worth it or not worth it? And I was getting to have these experiences. Then fast forward again through a crazy series of events. I am working and doing a play in LA. And the girl who plays my mother in this play, she's like, you speak fluent Spanish? I say, yeah. She says, well, this car company that I work for is looking for spokespeople. Are you okay with traveling? And I go, yeah, sure, whatever. I didn't care about it. She's like, here's the phone number. Like an idiot.
Yeah.
Didn't care, put the phone number away, whatever. Finally, I stumble on the piece of paper. And like, let me call. I call, get an appointment, get an interview for this job. They offered me the job that same day. And then I didn't know if I was going to take it or not. Stupid things. And fast forward, I take the job. And I'm traveling the country working for an automotive brand as like doing auto shows.
Nice.
I'm like a spokesperson.
Dope.
I go and I do speeches in English. So that helped me
in
learn
English
how to talk
and Spanish?
Yeah. Helped me learn how to talk to people. Helped me change the way that I speak depending on who I'm talking to, depending on what I'm explaining. Because you can tell from somebody's response that they're more receptive to learning.
Yeah.
And it was a huge thing for me. But then I was also getting paid to travel and eat all over the United States. I was your friend that you would call and be like, hey, Eddie, I'm in Austin. Where do I go?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in Brooklyn. Where do I go?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Where do I go?
Yeah, like a human atlas, basically.
Yeah, and I remembered it.
Yeah.
It was just I'm really into it.
That's
really,
dope.
Really
like
into it. And into cooking.
So the catering was kind of like a hack. Really, that allowed you like to taste all those different things that
Absolutely.
and like experience those different things that you would have never had the opportunity to in any other way, shape, or form.
No.
That's crazy.
It's
That's a dope hack right there.
It's crazy.
Like, yo, dropping gems out here just so y'all know what's good.
It was crazy. And then social media was... So when I started the Yum Yum Foodie, I just came up with it one day. I was working at the LA Auto Show.
Okay.
I'll never forget. And I wanted to write a blog. And I was just sitting there. It was towards the end of the day. It was dead. There was just a bunch of cars and like 6 or 7 people. And the name came to me.
Yeah.
So that went through. Then this is crazy because I couldn't plan this again.
Yeah.
I'm working in Aspen, Colorado with the fancy folks.
Yeah.
In the middle of winter. It was like March. It was cold as anything, man.
Yeah.
Un cubanito in Aspen.
Yeah, it's not
freezing my ass off.
Good.
And I was wearing like a...
I hate the
like
cold.
Oh, dude. I was wearing a jacket, like a North Face jacket that they had to give me because I didn't have any of that stuff. And, my job was stand outside with an iPad and ask people to see if they wanted to test drive this car.
Yeah.
Stuff you do, man.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget it. I see some dude, it's got to be like 20 degrees. And about 100 feet away from me, this guy pulls up in like full cycling gear.
Okay.
Full cycling gear. Like the camel toe shorts.
Yeah. Like nothing, like he's freezing his ass off.
It's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And he starts macking to some blonde girls.
Like nothing.
Like nothing, dude. Guapería. And I go, mira este tipo como mierda se cree Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Out here trying to mac to these chicks. Buddy turns around and it's Lance Armstrong.
No.
Swear to God. I could not recreate this. So Buddy turns around and I start laughing to myself. So I get on my first Android phone that had apps. My first Google phone, whatever the heck it was. And I had Twitter. My own personal Twitter. I didn't even have a Yum Yum Foodie Twitter. I get on there and I write something stupid like, at Lance Armstrong is training really hard in Aspen. Ha ha ha.
Picture,
Put my phone away. I hear a beep, an hour goes by. I look at my phone, it's completely drained, like 5%. He had written back to me.
Oh, he retweeted you.
Or he had responded.
Yeah,
he said something like snarky back to me, but like silly. And my phone was inundated with questions from what kind of a bike was he riding? People who follow Tour de France.
Yeah.
This was before his controversy.
Yeah.
So this was...
When it was popping.
And a light bulb went off. I said, there's something super impactful with social media. I don't know what it is and how I can make it work for what I do, but there's something here. Yeah. And that was the catalyst. That was the moment where I was like, if you build it, they will come.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's crazy, but I couldn't recreate that. I can't
that
tell Lance
experience.
Armstrong to show up at this place again.
Exactly. No, but at the same time, like you had the ingenuity to like capitalize on that you said, all right, there's something here. Because that could have happened to somebody else and they would have been like, oh, this shit happened and that's it. It was a cool time. Yeah. But you actually sat down and you broke it down and you saw, okay, how did this start? How did I engage them properly? Yeah. What did I say that had other people, just retweeting me or reaching out to me? Because somebody would have had that same experience, that worded in another way, and it wouldn't have had no engagement. Lance Armstrong would have not responded.
No, fair enough. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like things like that. Like these different experiences lead you to different things, but you have to have the right mindset to capitalize on it.
I think you have to be present too, man. And that's the problem, I think, with not to sound like an old guy, but people are so buried in their devices that they're not present. And there's something to say about like just being in the moment.
No, and Spanish for the win. Because if you wouldn't have known Spanish, you wouldn't have got that job. You wouldn't have been in Austin.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and Aspen, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? That's Spanish for the win, bro. Like,
it's crazy.
This weekend, I was talking to some friends of mine, and I'm telling them, like, do you speak Spanish with your kids? Because, like, all right, I'm first generation like you are, right? Mm-hmm. When I don't have any children as of yet, but if I have children, which I do want to have children, I want them to know Spanish. Like, I know Spanish. Porque yo te puedo tener una conversación en español completamente y yo voy a saber cómo hacer la cosa, right? How do I like put that kind of emphasis in Spanish on my kid when everything that I do is English?
Well, it wasn't everybody in my house spoke English.
In your household?
I was not allowed to speak English in my house. Only Spanish.
So purposely, you learned Spanish.
They knew that I was going to speak English.
Another one for your parents, bro. Look at that.
My grandmother, who was an elementary school teacher in Cuba, PhD, she spoke English. My grandfather spoke English. Everybody spoke English in my house, but we weren't allowed to speak English.
In the household?
Nope.
Up until what age?
I don't remember, but it had to have been, because I remember being in elementary school and speaking English at home. Yeah. So it had to have been really in my
your younger years. Yeah. They enforced that Spanish. Yeah, because the thing is that you're going to learn English in school.
Right.
So
100%. You're gonna watch movies. You're gonna learn English.
You're gonna learn English.
Yeah.
Period. So you might as well like enforce that Spanish because, bros, like Hispanics and in general are gonna become a huge part of the population moving forward in the United States. We want to be able to keep in contact with that cultura. You know what I'm saying? And with what our parents came from, what gives us our essence, besides our trigueñitos, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the color.
It's funny because in Miami, I think we have an advantage.
Yeah, because it's always going on.
Well, no, but also, you know, when the Latin community moved into Miami, it wasn't as developed a city as it is now.
That's true.
Where I live in Los Angeles, it was developed. It was Mexico before it was.
Yeah,
you know,
it was before.
And there, you know, from what I have understanding from my Mexican friends, it was frowned upon to speak Spanish. So you'll meet so many people who look like me, who even have an accent when they speak English that don't speak a word of Spanish.
Yeah.
So we definitely have an advantage in Miami.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's not for me to judge because that's not what I grew up with.
Yeah.
If I would have grown up in Miami and then I didn't speak Spanish, I'd be like,
but damn, what's going on?
In LA, it was more like your grandmother would be like, no, you're American.
Yeah.
You learn to speak English.
There's more assimilation in it. Yes. Over here, definitely people always talk about South Florida like not being part of Florida in general. You know what I'm saying? When people say, oh, I'm from Miami, they're not saying I'm from Florida. They're
we
saying
saw that video. That guy's like, no, I'm from Miami.
I'm from Miami, like 100%.
I say the same thing to everybody.
Bro, because the thing is that South Miami is just like South Florida in general now, because it's just like we as immigrants, and not only Latin people, there's a lot of Haitian people, a lot of West Indian people here from like Trinidad and from like, you know, Antigua, and I've met so many different people, Bahamians. It's just like they all have their own culture and they keep their culture very near and dear to them, you know? And then the Latins, which we keep our culture so near and dear to us that you don't even need to know English to live in Miami.
It's crazy.
100%, dude.
I can't tell you how many friends whose parents I know that still don't speak English. They've lived here for 50 years.
They're not gonna.
No.
They're gonna die not knowing English. No. And they're gonna live like the majority of their life in the United States. Imagine that.
It's crazy. It's surreal, but this city like caters it because you know, like all caters to it. I'll be like on my way here. I'm in a Lyft. Yeah. And
good luck trying to speak English in a Lyft.
Oh, my driver was awesome guy, but he was like he's like, you know, I was trying to learn English, and I go, you're in the wrong city.
Yeah,
to learn English, my friend.
Yeah, move to North Carolina, homie.
Yeah, move somewhere like for real.
Go to Austin or something because
this is
Miami,
not the city that lends itself to it.
Everybody's gonna speak to you in Spanish. Everybody, like the very first thing, the natural thing is to speak in Spanish.
And they'll get mad at you if you don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And that always baffles me.
Yeah, that is crazy because they expect you to know you're in Miami. Like, you need to know some Spanish. It's like, what? I thought I was in the United States of America, yo.
It's so funny. It's so funny. That part of it is funny.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, my God, thank God I don't have to deal with that on the day-to-day because that would drive me nuts, man.
Yeah. So the Latin culture out on the West Coast is much different. Much different. I speak from experience. My sister lives in San Francisco.
Okay.
She's lived there for going on like 19, 20 years now. And my family, we're Colombian, right? She married a Nicaraguan.
Okay.
But like he was raised in like Cali, so he has a strong like Mexican culture thing going on there, mixed in with his upbringing. And my nieces and nephews barely speak any Spanish. They speak Spanish to my mom, which is their grandma. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom forces them to speak Spanish, but that's about it. It's like, and the culture is not as strong. Like they don't know. I just got recently married, and they were all at the wedding. We did it in the Keys, so they all flew in. And we were just like spending so much quality time. And I was just talking to them about like Colombian culture, if they know anything of the Colombian culture, which is like half their like culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like completely baffled. Like I'm talking about them about like buñuelos and like other like pan de bonos and like different things. And they're just like, nah, Theo, like we don't have none of that out there.
It's a trip, man. It's also good to know what stuff is called in different countries because like I've done cooking segments on TV shows.
Yes.
And like, for example, I did something with tostones recently. You know, I'm on there talking about like, they're tostones if you're from the Caribbean. If you're from Colombia, they're patacones.
Yeah, patacones.
But you know, but like,
Patacon
it's great
pisao.
because I'm always like, I know my friends in Miami will be like, they're patacones too.
Yeah, patacones. Yeah, and it's a fight.
But you got to learn.
Yeah.
You got to learn the distinction.
Do you feel that like your exposure to Latin food at such a young age and all the different flavors and seasonings, because they're not the same. I've had lechon, right?
Of course.
I've had the Hawaiian version of lechon. I went to Hawaii like 4 or 5 years ago. I did this luau thing, and I had their pork that they put in the ground, and they
Right.
and I was expecting like lechon, and it's
Nope.
definitely not lechon.
Nope.
Dog.
It is not flavored the same. It has no mojo.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no mojo and naranja agria. There's none of that.
None of that, dude. No.
It's like, yo, that experience like completely opened up my mind. Like, yo, there's so many ways you could prepare different foods. Like, how do you feel that experience of having all those different flavors hitting you so young?
Well,
you
dude,
know?
I think it's made me more well-rounded.
Okay.
And thankfully, my parents being the way that they are, they always taught me to embrace other people's culture.
Okay.
It's not about like yours is the best. You can always learn from everybody's culture.
Mm-hmm.
So having that at such a young age did make an impact on me. But it's funny because I didn't really try good Mexican food until I moved to LA in my 20s.
Well, yeah,
And-
okay. I see what you're saying.
And that's a game changer, man.
Yeah.
It's a complete game changer. And I almost feel like an ambassador for Miami wherever I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am always representing Miami.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I feel like compelled to educate people when they think that Cuban food is spicy.
Yeah.
Or they think Colombian or Dominican food is spicy. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's so hard though, man. Like, it's so many people that confuse Mexican food and Mexican culture with Latin culture in general. It's like, you have to you always gotta, everywhere I go, I have to break that stigma. Everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Like, there's outside of South Florida, of course, you know?
Of course, yeah.
So whenever
this
I
is a
travel,
bubble.
this is a bubble. Everybody knows what's up over here. People could dissect you in 10 seconds and be like, oh, you're Peruvian. Where's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, just looking at
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like, you leave outside Florida and then you go to like, I don't know, I was in Stowe, Vermont, you know what I'm saying? We're like kicking it out there, doing some skiing and stuff. And like people, I was talking to people. Obviously, I don't look like people from Stowe, Vermont. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm Latin, this and that." I'm like, "Oh, you're Mexican?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm Colombian." They're like, "Oh, yeah." Some people knew Colombia. Other people didn't even know Colombia existed. Which
crazy.
was like, yeah, that really blew.
They're like
blew my mind.
Washington, D.C., District of Columbia.
Yeah,
Is that where
I
you're
was
from?
like, what? So it's like that having to continuously like express the fact, especially in the West Coast, you're Cuban. How hard has your assimilation been? Do you feel that you've been stripped away of some of your like Cubanism because, or do you feel you're even stronger?
I think I'm more Cuban there than I was here.
I feel
to be
you.
honest with you.
Okay.
Like brutally. I am
right.
exponentially more Cuban there than here. And it's just because I'm so proud of where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of like what my family's been through. It's one of those things where it's like it's always going to be like right here. Doesn't matter where I go. I'm always like die hard. And it's funny because sometimes I associate Cuban with Miami, and obviously it's not.
Yeah.
But besides the Cuban flag, Miami for me has many flags. The Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, the Marlins. If I am out in LA and I see somebody with a Heat shirt on, they're automatically my brother. It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip. You've connected with them in some other way, shape, or form.
100% on that. I feel
so
that.
funny.
Every time I travel, I normally wear like UM gear. I'm a huge UM fan. You know?
But of course you feel like connected to it.
Yeah,
like
I feel like, oh my God, I gotta represent. And also people who see that, they're like, oh man, I love that.
And there's a lot of Miami people in LA.
Yeah.
Which is so great, man, because
That's
I can hear
crazy.
people speaking and I'm like,
You're not from here.
they're like 786 or 305.
Did you say, if you said bro like 5 times, bro.
It's funny. I had to like train myself to not say that as
To
much.
not say bro?
No, because it just doesn't work for what I do, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
I had to, man. It's a matter of work and circumstance.
Yeah, you gotta have it. So you earlier you were talking about like when you're doing that stuff where you met Lance Armstrong in that particular gig.
Well, I never
right?
even met him. I just tweeted.
that you got to see him.
Yeah.
So like in that situation, you have to speak in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have some similar experience. I used to do sales, phone sales.
Okay.
Call center. I was calling to 36 states, right? So I was talking to a lot of people who are not used to my accent and the way that I talk. Right now, I don't cover that at all. You know what I'm saying? It's like super I'm Dade County through and through.
When
Whoever
I'm here
listens
for a
to
week,
me,
I'm the same way.
it's like, yo, I'm Dade County AF right now, fam. Like, yeah, se acabó.
Yeah.
But like when I was doing sales, I always had to try to talk with my like Caucasian voice because I wanted to come across a little more like this way or that way. Do you feel that in your approach as being a personality, you've had to strip back some of that like Miami talking like accent and all of that, or has that been
I'll
a
just
hindrance?
say I don't say irregardless or supposedly.
Okay.
Thankfully, I know the distinction between.
Do you
that.
know salmon or salmon? Which
No,
one?
I love it when I see people from Miami in LA. I'll be like, bro, did you get your pizza?
No,
Or-
pizza. Pizza.
Thursday was pizza day in
Pizza.
elementary school.
That's crazy.
To be honest with you, it was a matter of like when you would audition for like a commercial or
Yeah.
something, you have to speak without an accent.
For reals?
You had, I mean, at the time,
Yeah.
I had to learn to neutralize an accent. I just had
That's
to.
hard.
And then when you speak Spanish in a commercial, at that time, now you can get away with it more.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was neutral Spanish.
Yeah.
As neutral as you can get.
Yeah,
In other
Desi
words,
Arnaz
more.
was like a one-off, right?
Yeah. I mean, for real.
Straight up.
Like, for real. So it was a matter of, hay que resolver.
Yeah.
It was a matter of circumstance.
I feel you.
And my Spanish actually got better when I moved to LA than while I was here.
Yeah, so how'd that happen?
You're forced to enunciate more when you speak Spanish. So here, when I get Cuban Spanish, I cut. It's all vowel sounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Oiga, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
It's just like that.
Yeah.
When you're over there
Una
and,
canción.
and you have to speak in public,
Yeah.
you have to learn how to like make it understandable for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it was a
all
good
different-
challenge. I
yes.
embrace it. I'm like, that's a good challenge because I can always switch back to Cuban.
Yeah,
That's
true.
not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's just another bullet in my gun. It's another asset that I have that's going to make me
Yes.
better at my job.
That's crazy because like we have this running joke with a couple of my friends. We grew up here and we know different like accents.
Yeah.
You know how to talk like a Cuban. I know how to talk Cuban good as heck. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? I'm Colombian. I know how to talk Colombian. One of my best friends is Nicaraguan. I know how to talk to you in Nica. Like I could talk. I have some good Haitian friends. I could talk to you in Haitian accents.
I worked at restaurants in Miami. I have quite
You
a few
pick up-
Haitian.
yeah,
I know the
like,
Haitian
"Ay,
lingo
papi."
pretty well.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You listen to that. You pick it up everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like differently than food, where it's like everybody has their own sazon. It's the same thing with their accent.
100%.
Everybody has their own sazon. So like in terms of food, you've experienced a lot of Latin food. What is the one thing that you like you always fall back to? What's your like, this is what I want to have all the time type of situation, or like my foundation?
Oof. I mean, I always break it down into like, what do I miss from Miami? Let's say.
Okay.
Because
Because you don't get to experience that.
right. I mean, I miss like a good vaca frita.
All right.
I miss a good croqueta.
All right.
Those are like,
Croqueta.
oh yeah, dude, like a croqueta.
Yeah.
I went to something today at Miami Children's Hospital. There's like this charity thing that they were doing, and they had croquetas on the table.
Yeah.
And I was that guy that I was looking at the table of croquetas. I was like,
Yeah.
let me sneak
You're
over
sweaty.
there. I was like, let me get one more of those. Let me get one more of those.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick a favorite
All right.
because of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so lucky to have the opportunity to try not just Thai food,
Yeah.
but I've had the opportunity to try Thai food in Thailand,
Yeah.
which tastes different than Thai food here, or go to Napa Valley and see people crush grapes in front of me and know that is going to be the bottle that I'm going to have in 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I've been so blessed to have that, and then also have the awareness to know that people are working hard to create whatever this is. So it's like asking a parent to pick their favorite kid. It's hard for me to really think that I have like a go-to because it's always changing.
What's been like one moment that you were like, that you like, not starstruck because you're not starstruck, but I guess starstruck by food.
Ooh, man. The first time, well, no, sorry. So Barcelona is my
Okay.
favorite food city. And well, Barcelona and Tokyo
Okay.
are like my two favorite food cities that I've been to.
They've been battling it out.
Oh, dude.
In your taste buds.
Dude, you don't even know. So I like to use the term that there's things I didn't know,
Okay.
right? Because you're always open to learning something. If you didn't know that.
That's true.
Right? So you think you know something, and you didn't know it.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Tokyo, and I went to this like gastro pub, and gastro pub in Tokyo is still dope.
Yeah.
And I ordered a steak, and dude, I've eaten steak how many times?
Yeah.
I've eaten really good steak. How many times? And my friend, when they brought out this Kobe beef steak,
Yeah.
and I took one bite of it, it was like the world had like changed.
Like you had never tasted steak
like
before.
something I had never tasted before. It's got to be like it was like the food equivalent of the first time you hear the opening solo of Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
You
yeah.
hear that and you're like, whoa, this is great.
Like what's
it
popping?
It was incredible.
First time you smoke a blunt, you're like, oh my god, my head exploded.
It was that moment. It was that moment of aha, like wow, I understand why I do. I'll never forget this moment.
That's crazy.
My grandfather had Alzheimer's.
All right.
And I'm not into a lot of material things.
Yeah.
I'm into memories, creating memories. Because when my grandfather was at his worst, he didn't know who I was. He didn't know who my mother was. He always had the memories of when he was younger. He would remember trips that he would go on.
Yeah.
He would talk about these things. And it really connected with me because, I mean, to me, life is just a collection of memories.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes, you know, you can have an heirloom or something that does resonate with a good memory, but it's not about that. It's all about creating the memories. And that's what food does for me. Like I travel based on food.
Yeah.
And not
crazy.
travel to see, you know, it's just food is
so
a big thing
you
for
travel to taste different things.
Absolutely.
Instead of seeing different things.
Absolutely.
What's the most wild off the beaten path place you've been to eat something?
Oof. In August, I was in Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia.
Okay.
And it's funny because Cambodia to me, because I've been to Cuba twice.
All right.
And Cambodia felt, at least where I was in Cambodia, it felt like Asian Cuba.
Like Asian Cuba.
Yeah,
like it's not been developed in any way, shape, or form.
In the sense, it's like, yeah, a lot of it had some pretty architecture. It was falling apart. The people are poor. You know what I mean? I came that vibe.
Yeah.
But I went to an oyster farm in Thailand.
All right.
Out in the middle of like nowhere.
In the Mekong River?
Pardon me?
On a lake.
On a lake. And we go out there and this is warm water. It's Vietnam.
Yeah.
Pardon me, it's Thailand.
Yeah.
Water's got to be at least 75 to 80 degrees. You don't eat oysters when they're warm water.
Yeah.
So I go there and I'm like, you have to trust everything that these people have been eating these oysters for how many years? And this guy is going out into the middle of his farm. This guy with no shoes on.
Yeah.
Just him and his wife on a barge.
All right.
Floating in the middle. And he's presenting us with this food.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I had the oysters there. They blew my mind.
Yeah.
They were warm water.
Were they sweet?
Fresh. No, they were briny.
Oh, okay.
They were briny because it was still brackish water, the mix of the salt and the fresh water.
All right.
So yeah, no, they weren't sweet at all.
Yeah.
But they were really, and they're big.
Yeah.
And you know, oysters, you don't want them to be too big.
Yeah.
Because they lose flavor.
Yeah.
Oh man, these were like hockey pucks, and they were legit.
That's crazy, dude.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right. I was just like, okay, cool. There's something I learned that I could speak to.
Another crazy experience.
Yeah.
Do you ever get like stomach issues from being in different places and?
It's funny. The only
or you have like a iron
I
stomach.
have a pretty ironclad stomach.
Iron stomach.
Yeah, but it's funny. As I get older, I don't eat as late. I don't like to eat late because I won't sleep. Like I'll get nightmares. I'll get heartburn.
You get nightmares.
Hell yeah, dude. Or not even nightmares, just like vivid dreams.
Yeah.
So you don't feel rested. Like you wake up and you're like, dude, I was just running a marathon.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you woke up and your heart's like this.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, but I have a pretty ironclad stomach. And I used to be, like I said, afraid to eat anything.
Yeah.
And now I'm the opposite. Now I'll pretty much taste anything.
So that's dope, man. So the foodie, going on the foodie experiences led you to Diner Takes All.
It was, so yes, it helped build somewhat of a fan base.
Okay.
Because I always said to myself, I know that I can work on television. I know how to act on camera. I know how to be professional.
Yeah.
I know how to write copy. I know how to produce.
Yeah.
That was all the skills that I learned when I had my talk show on Telemundo Mundos. I learned how to do all those things.
Okay.
I learned how to produce, create content,
yeah,
everything.
Wear the hats.
We wore all the hats. And
did you edit as well?
I worked alongside the editor doing time codes, but I didn't do the actual cut and paste.
Yeah.
But we would get in the editing bay when we had our own little, man on the street stuff that I would shoot or whatever. So I had a feel for that. And I think editing is almost like music.
Yeah.
Really like putting it together like a piece of music. And so I knew that in some way, shape, or form, I had to just continue working hard. Like I find that now we live in a culture of people want 8-minute abs. There used to be these videos that you would see on like infomercials.
Yeah.
8-minute abs.
That's the one that used to shock you?
No. It's like literally a video of doing like abs exercises. And if you did it for 8 minutes a day, they would show people like 6 packs.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
That doesn't exist.
8-minute abs doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I
Unless
find that we
you're
live in a society where people want all the results without putting in the work.
I feel you.
knew
Instant gratification, man.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to work super hard at whatever it was, and I had to be as complete and not scratch the surface. So I became more journalistic in that sense in my approach to it.
Yeah.
I was inspired a lot by Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
And the fact that he really got into the food almost became secondary. It was more about the stories. I love talking to chefs.
Yeah.
I love talking to people in the food industry because I have so much respect for them creatively. And as a joke one time, my representations at the time were like, dude, you need more pictures of you.
Yeah.
And I'm not a camera whore, man. I'm not one of those people that needs to be on camera. I'm not that person. Though I do like working on camera.
Yeah.
I don't need 17 pictures of me. I'm not that person.
Yeah, I feel you on that one,
said,
bro.
How can I put a picture of me, but show my personality and then make it stupid? And the people that get it, and the people that don't get it, I don't need you in my life.
Yeah.
Right? There was this husband and wife couple that I knew who loved taking pictures of themselves. And they always had like those pouty duck lips.
Yeah.
And they always were trying to be sexy.
Like Calvin Klein models and
Yes.
shit.
Cubans from Miami. And pretty much.
Calvin Klein 19.
And I said, those are the grossest things to me. I'm disgusted by those pictures. But I said, maybe I should do something like that, but make fun of it.
Okay.
And that's where I came up with douchey duck lips. Coffee selfie is this stupid hashtag that I came up with. And I would take pictures with duck lips and coffee all over the world.
All right.
And I would ask people to tag me in theirs. And it turned into a thing.
Yeah.
So they're trying to cast judges for this television show, Dinner Takes All. And the creators of Chopped, which is a very popular show on Food Network, Cleve Keller and Dave Noll. Today's Cleve's birthday, so happy
Congratulations,
birthday,
Cleve.
Good people. And I owe them a debt of gratitude. And showrunner, a guy named Joey Allen, they called me on the phone. And they, through my representation, they said, the creators of Chopped want to talk to you. It's about maybe coming on board and working on this food show. Would you ever want to be a judge on a show?
Yeah.
And then I said, why not? We had a phone call. And I mean, mind you, I've spent my entire adult life auditioning
for like various things. Yeah.
Auditioning for various things, getting on camera. You almost get the job. You don't get the job.
Yeah.
There's a number of projects that I've seen in movies and TV where it was, down to like me
you and somebody else. Right. Yeah.
And I always say it's not meant for you. I'm not one of those people, but it was funny that this moment comes up and I never auditioned. I had a phone call and it felt like I was talking to fam, like for real, like family that I've known for a years.
Minute.
We just connected. And I had a second phone call with them. 3 days later, they offered me the job.
Damn, that's dope, yo.
I showed up on set. I didn't know anybody there. I met my co-judge that day. We hit it off like family. I met the host that day. We hit it off like family. And it was the best experience of my life professionally to do that. That's crazy. And it all because of the douchey duck lips. Because the creators, one of them, Dave Noll, he goes, I saw that douchey duck lips thing you did. I think that's funny as hell.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the kind of personality we need for this show. We need somebody who doesn't take themselves too seriously, but knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's funny that on a whim, something that I did that I couldn't recreate because I was making fun of this Cuban couple from Miami who would do that turned into a completely huge influential moment in my life, a fork in the road for me. It's crazy.
That's how it works, man. Sometimes like all you gotta do is like persistency, keep doing it. Just like you never know which avenue could be the one.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. That's crazy how those things just like come together.
Well, my friends who will listen to this are gonna laugh at me because I say this all the time.
Yeah.
But there's maybe people who don't know what this word is. There's a word in Japanese called kaizen.
All right.
Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, I think I heard.
Kaizen means continuous improvement.
No, that's not the one then.
There is no best, only better.
Yeah.
So you're never the best. There's always going to be somebody better. So you're always trying to become better.
Kaizen? That's a pretty dope. Like,
and I live by that I live by that philosophy of like continuous improvement. What can I do different that I didn't do before? How do I make this better? Whatever it is that I do.
Yeah, man. If you don't, then you stay stagnant, and then
100%.
You get rant over. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And then it's a done daughter for you. Se llamaba.
For sure.
You know how they say in Spanish, se llamaba.
Yeah. Well, I think people put too much emphasis on social media.
Yeah.
And to put too many of their eggs in that basket.
Bro, but the thing is that social media is such a giant that people tend to forget that there was other things prior to social media, which was like actually good, engaging content. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
like just because you have a forum to like distribute that content doesn't mean that you stop making good, engaging content.
Well, not only that, but you have no control of who sees it. Really,
Yeah.
It's in the hands of other people.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a website,
Yeah.
you're in control 100% of what lives there,
Yeah.
where it lays out, who gets to see it. And you would have thought that people would have learned from Vine that it can all go away tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why people have freaked out with Instagram and their changing of the game.
Yeah, they'll change it. Yeah, they're taking out likes and stuff like that. Has that happened to you? You can't see the likes yet?
It hasn't happened on but dude, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity. People need to embrace it instead of resist it. It's an opportunity to better
It's changed
yourself,
though, man.
to
It's
change.
hard for people to change, man.
I mean, it's hard for people to change if they're people who are buying fake likes and by people who have fake followers.
Facts. Big facts.
If you don't do that, you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, because you're creating what they're actually engaging.
Absolutely.
I feel
you. I find the people that are most afraid of it are the people that have done some shady stuff.
It's just people who are not ready to change. It's just, you know what it is? A lot of people don't embrace change, and that's why they get left behind a lot of time. Like you were saying, Kaizen, yo. Kaizen 100.
Well, even like if I'm going to make up some silly example, let's say I'm going to go to some winery somewhere, or I go to a restaurant and I'm going to create a piece on this particular dish that I'm fascinated about. I will go and see what other people have taken pictures of this dish, and I want to make sure my picture looks nothing like theirs. Regardless of it being better or worse, I want it to have its own thing.
Yeah.
Because what's the point of looking at the exact same thing from everybody? Yeah. If everybody's doing the exact same, what's the point?
I agree.
How do you make yourself different? How do you
have you thought about that though?
Yeah.
Like creating your own restaurants and stuff like that?
Restaurants is too much. I don't have the patience for dealing with clientele.
So what, like little pop-ups?
Recipe design, pop-ups. I'd love to collaborate with chefs.
What would you do brands as a pop-up?
So, no joke, I would do in LA a Cuban pop-up, like a old Havana bar.
Okay.
Pop-up, for real.
What would be like the top 3 things you'd serve?
The top 3 things I would serve would be an OG daiquiri.
Okay.
OG, but like the real deal daiquiri, Cuban daiquiri, like Floridita and Havana. It would be a cocktail thing. So I'd have to serve in Nacional.
All right.
Make sure there's a good Cuban old fashioned there, rum old fashioned. Introduce some people in LA to croquetas. But like legit croquetas, something unique.
Yeah. Don't charge $9 though, man.
No, dude. I don't roll with that. But it's not even about, for me, it's about the experience.
Yo,
obviously, you got to make money, but I don't want to rob people, man.
I was in Orlando this weekend. And I ate this place. It was actually a really good place. I'm not gonna lie, it was good food. But on the menu, I saw croquetas for $9. I said, "How? What, Papa? Dude, what kind of croquetas are those? Like, are they wrapped in gold foil?"
But dude, living in LA and following like social media accounts that are here, I'll see something become popular here, and it kind of makes me laugh a little bit. Yeah, because it's unfortunate. I feel moving away has given me perspective. Yeah. So as much as I love Miami, that doesn't mean I can't criticize it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna be the first one because I want Miami to be Kaizen.
Yeah,
I don't want Miami to think they're the best. I want Miami to always strive to be better. Always strive to be better. So they don't think of it as being something being good for Miami. I want something to be good.
For sure.
Regardless. So,
I agree with that.
I'm always about that. So I'll see something like, I can't remember what it was, but recently people were waiting in line for some croqueta place. And I'm like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's that social media culture, though. They want to take pictures and do that stuff, and like, because they got to be the first ones to take the pictures, bro. That's how it works. There's no other reason, because you could have that croqueta on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to wait in line on Saturday. You could wait till Tuesday and just walk in and have the croqueta. But you weren't the first to take the picture and post that junk on the gram. If it wasn't on the gram, it didn't happen.
The minute somebody tells me, and this has happened to me so many times, like somebody will tell me like, oh, this is Instagrammable. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Is it good?
Yeah.
I tell them straight up, is it good?
Is it good? That should be the real question.
I don't care what it looks like.
Is it good?
I mean, of course, it has to be somewhat appealing to the senses, but I don't need to be holding an ice cream cone with it melting down my hand. And that's not me. I don't think you're saying anything. If everything you do is based on like me, I think you're missing something there. And it's okay. I mean, again, people got to figure it out. It took me years to kind of get to where I'm comfortable in the space that I'm in now. But I feel that it's important to tell a story with whatever it is. It could be 3 words, man. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah,
you're not writing War and Peace.
You just got to be real with it and have that vibe. People will feel it 100%. So you're going in on your 3rd season now?
We should know soon, so we don't know yet.
Oh,
if
okay.
the show's
So
getting picked up, we'll find out.
Oh,
yeah, we'll find out.
A little like in the air.
honestly, I've done everything I could do. It's beyond my control. I don't live that way, man.
That's
Because
what's up.
again, I lived so many years as an actor.
Yeah.
Where I'll be all right.
I'll
be
you.
all right, man. I'm very comfortable in what I do, and I know my value. I know what I'm worth. So I don't work for free.
Yeah.
I highly suggest that people stop working for free.
Facts.
You know,
Working for free sucks, bro. 110%.
Yeah. You know, now don't have delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
Tampoco.
Yeah.
Don't try to ask for Dave Chappelle money on Netflix.
Dave Chappelle.
There's a reason why Dave Chappelle gets paid what he gets paid.
Took him a long time to get to that, though.
Absolutely.
You know?
He didn't do 8-minute abs.
For sure, 8-minute abs. That was like the 40-year ab. You know what I'm saying? He legit started when he was like 18.
Dude.
Not even. It was like 16 or something like that. It's insane.
I've had so many crazy stories in my life, but I actually hung out with him in Miami.
Oh, for reals?
I used to work in Coconut Grove at Paulo Luigi's restaurant.
I know where that's at.
Under Club 609.
It was under Club 609,
Correct.
dog.
And
that's crazy.
Yep. So I used to work. That was one of my first jobs.
Yeah.
And one of my best friends, whose parents owned Paulo Luigi's, the Improv was in the Grove, and the owner of the Improv comes over and he's like, "Hey guys," he tells me and the restaurant owner's son. He goes, "Hey guys," he's like, "This guy Dave is here. He doesn't know anybody. Do you guys want to take him upstairs to 609 to the club and hang out with him or whatever?" And I'm like, "All right, yeah." I had no idea.
Yeah.
Comes in and I had seen Half Baked.
Oh,
it was right after Half Baked. I'm like, "Oh shit,
that's
Dave
Chappelle.
Chappelle."
That's what's
he
up.
is the nicest guy
That's
ever.
Dope, yo.
The most down to earth guy, and it was it was just a silly story. That was it. We hung out with him for one night.
Throwback
he doesn't drink.
Thursday.
He's the most chill dude on the planet. I always find that when you engage, there's certain people you can engage in life. Depends on what you do. That you can always absorb some kind of an energy from them.
Mm-hmm.
You can understand why they're successful. Sometimes just from 5 minutes with a person.
Yeah.
You can understand. So.
That's crazy, dog. Dave Chappelle.
We had a pizza guy here trying to come in during the interview. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's right behind me. He's right behind you.
Pizza guy?
I'm like, dude.
I don't know. Just leave the pizza there, bro.
And then he's angry at me. I'm like,
yeah, he's mad at you.
Miami, that's Miami in a nutshell.
Sorry, Pablo. We're doing an interview.
See, but that's the funniest thing because that's Miami in a nutshell. Yeah. I expect that here.
Yeah.
If that happened where I live now, I'd be pissed.
People will be like, "What's going on, man?"
Miami's the only city.
Cógelo con take it easy, baby. That's
what it is. You can walk into like the T-Mobile store and you go to get help and people get mad at you because you're asking for help.
Yo, that's how it is out here, bro. They're like, "Yo, what are you doing here, man? Don't you know that I'm supposed to be chilling?" Yeah, it is really non-existent.
It's a trip, man.
I really started experiencing really good customer service when I started like legit traveling. That's when I started experiencing, and then coming back to Miami and then getting mad about the service here.
It gives you perspective. But then there's places that are doing it right, man. You got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know if you've ever been to Ariete in Coconut Grove.
Oh, yeah. Ariete?
So, my boy Michael, Chef Michael Beltran, that's one of his spots. He
love that spot. It's good.
Chuck's Diner. And,
you know who does it good, too? In the Grove, the seafood place that where Improv used to be. Man,
I haven't been there.
Man, that place is so good. I just blanked on their name though. Starts with an S, bro. That place is fire. I love it. They have a lobster Reuben that's fuego, homie.
You gotta love it. Yeah. So I'm glad to see Miami's. Like, there's people that are doing it right.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not about the
champagne. You can't shit on the whole city.
The champagne bottle with the sparklers on it.
I mean, there's a lot of that though.
There is, but there's people that are doing it right. But I almost feel like those places are short-lived, man. They're grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah, they make their money in like 3 months and they ride out.
There's no longevity to that.
Hashtag money laundering. Hashtag Miami.
Why did your place burn down?
Like
you don't even have a stove.
You just put in $3 million in this mug and it burned down in 2 months. How did that happen?
I know.
Hashtag Miami. So, bro, thank you so much, man, for swinging through.
Oh, man, it's an honor to be
here
for
to
real.
us. Bola, letting us know how you grew up and how you did your thing in South Florida, expanded to various other things. I see nothing but like greatness in your future, bro. You're like a super cool dude. We literally, like, legit, we've been texting back and forth for a minute. You're like, yo, when you're in Miami, when I'm in Miami, I'm gonna swing through. I was like, for sure, bro. You hit me up. You're like, yo, let's do this. I was like, yo, that's what's up, dog. Because a lot of people, they be talking a lot of that muela, but then it's like, when it comes through, it's like...
I'm all about supporting Miami. No matter where I live, no matter what city I'm in, I am like an ambassador of this city.
Thank you, dog.
I always wanted to be better. I was like I said, and you're doing a great job, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for that, for reals, man. If people want to get in contact with you, if they want to do collabs with you, how do they reach out to you? How do they do that?
I mean, the best thing is obviously on my social media. You'll find any kind of reach out, whether it's my email, direct message. I actually take the time. I respond to every single person that ever writes to me.
Yeah.
Because if somebody takes the time to do it for me, if I have the time, I always do it. That's who I am.
That's what's up, man.
Always. Or even through my website, you can always send me an email. And
What's your
website?
website?
It's the www.theyumyumfoodie.com.
Theyumyumfoodie.com.
It had to be because somebody had Yum Yum Foodie.
Okay.
When I went to get it.
It's all good. It's all good.
So yeah, it's the Yum Yum Foodie on everything.
All right.
Social media. Yeah. Advice number 1: if you're ever gonna do anything on social, get the same name across the board.
All right.
Yeah.
So theyumyumfoodie.com and on IG.
The Yum Yum Foodie.
The Yum Yum Foodie.
And Twitter's my favorite.
Twitter.
The Yum Yum Foodie.
The Yum Yum Foodie. That's the one that you use the most.
Yeah. Twitter is my biggest audience. Twitter is to me is the most engaging. It's the most legit.
Yeah, because that's like right there, instant. Like boom,
it's
boom,
instant.
boom. Yeah.
Dude,
you know what's
Twitter
going on.
Twitter has started coups in Egypt.
Yeah, that's insane.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, not
Twitter is like culturally impactful.
The Irish Spring. The Arab Spring. They started a lot with Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
crazy.
A lot of things. Maybe even Hong Kong. Didn't they shut down like a huge Twitter feed in Hong Kong recently?
Dude, it's crazy.
Popping
Twitter,
off out there.
Twitter's really impactful because it forces you to read.
Yeah.
It's not just like this picture. It's what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again, Eddie, for talking to us. And if you guys like the show, you know what it is. At Bola Podcast. This is Phresh Productions. You know what it is. If you don't like this, share it with your enemies. If you like this, share it with your friends. Hasta la próxima. Peace. All right. Y'all heard that there. Thank you so much, Eddie, for coming on and talking to us, letting us know what's popping off in your world, letting us know what your sazon is all about. To everybody out there, thank you so much for listening to the Bola Podcast. Hasta la próxima. Holla at your boy when you see me in the street. Bola Podcast on IG. Phresh on IG. Ya tu sabes. Peace.